Hi guys, welcome to the Family Life YouTube channel. My name is Hannah and this is my husband Jason. We are American expats living in Taipei, Taiwan. And today we're going to be talking about our experience having our third child and going to a Taiwanese postpartum care center called a月子中心. Our goal in this is to just explain what the 15-day stay was like so that if you're considering doing postpartum care here in Taiwan, you'll have a good idea of what it's going to be like. Yeah, so after Lucy was born, we were home for 2 nights before checking into our center because Lucy was born a week early. So we were still able to get into the center on June 1st, which was 4 days before my due date. When we were at home, it was kind of challenging because both kids were at home. Jason was having to go into work. So I was very freshly postpartum and, obviously dealing with a lot of bleeding and pain.
He's here, and I love her because he's so cute.
All right, let's go wash our hands with soap. And then why don't you guys go wait on mommy's bed?
Why?
You can do skin to skin with her.
It's just hard to rest postpartum when you have other kids around.
The other kids were like so eger to just
be with baby.
her.
So there was a lot of me hovering and be like, okay, don't, put her down.
Flowers springing, I love spring.
They wanted to do skin to skin. They wanted to hold her.
It was very sweet,
but I could tell it was a lot.
It was a little stressful.
I am Gaga Meme, and I will protect you. I will love you forever. I'll teach you how to ride bicycle.
Checking into the center was really nice. Unfortunately, during those 2 days at home, Lucy's latch was not great. Nursing was extremely painful. The nurses at the center were saying, honey, you're too damaged here and you need to give us the baby and you need to sleep and let us just give her a bottle you can pump. And I had a really hard time with that. So the first few days, I just had a lot of hormonal weepiness. But the center was so wonderful. These nurses were so gracious and kind and warm. There was a lactation consultant who came in to help me with, figuring out her latch. And she also just convinced me, give it a day to take a break, let her take the bottle, and you need to focus on sleeping and recovering. And she was sitting with me out by the library and I just started crying. And so she just gave me a big hug. And then she's like, you give her a hug. I finally got to the point where I was able to trust them with Lucy. I think for me, because we had been separated for the first 24 hours, I just had a lot of separation anxiety.
24 hours
after she was born at the hospital. And it's very not the way we do things in America to hand someone else your baby. Whereas in Taiwan, all the moms are like, take the baby, I'm going to sleep, which is admirable.
We just got an interesting gift from our postpartum center. Do you know what this is? It's really beautiful. It is called a 脐带盒. Inside is baby's dried umbilical cord. Why such a interesting gift? Well, according to ChatGPT, in Chinese and Taiwanese culture and tradition, it is a symbolic and meaningful gesture rooted in cultural beliefs about health, protection, and connection to the family. Protect the child from illness or evil spirits. It can also be an heirloom. In the States, we have the first tooth or the first lock of hair. The other thing that they do is that older Chinese traditions is that they take the placenta, they dry it out, mash it into powder, and then turn it into medicine that they give to the mother. We said no to that.
So those were the first few days. And then we were in one room the first 24 hours, which you saw in the video. And that was the very fancy room with the massage chair. We were only there for one night. And then they moved us to the room we were in for the rest of our time. Hello. Come on in. Welcome to our room at our postpartum care center. We have these if we want to put do not disturb for nursing. This they put on the door so you know that the room is being disinfected after the kids are here. Right here we have some storage for jackets and miscellaneous things. Microwave, sterilizer, bottle warmer, fridge. To the right, we have the bathroom with a really nice standing shower, great water pressure. Really like a towel warmer. Got a very comfortable bed. 2 bedside tables, a really nice Marshall speaker that I've actually used every single night to put on brown noise. Really great lighting, a great blackout curtain system, TV with all the streaming services. And one thing we really love is that we are able to see baby whenever she is in the nursery. So there she is, she's napping right now. This is great, and it also controls the lights. So then the curtain, just hit a button and it will close all the way. Yeah, that's a nice feature when you're laying in bed. And then we have this nice little Shaylong day bed. I've been sitting there to crochet and to nurse, and it's very comfortable. It's a great space. I've been in here for 14 days and I'm not sick of it. I've actually thoroughly felt at home and very cozy in here. Our rhythm kind of became, I would do a morning feed and then I would drop off Lucy at the nursery and I would come back and either sleep or I would take a shower, eat breakfast, get ready, or I would do all of the above and then take a nap. And the way that we had kind of our setup was the nurses would just call whenever Lucy needed to feed and bring her to our room.
If you're at any hotel, you can order room service, right? So there's a specific number that you dial. And so whenever either we needed anything postpartum care, whether it's with baby or with you, we would call the nurses. Because they also have a 24/7 text hotline on this app called Line.
Yeah, that you can communicate with the nurses and with the front desk. So whenever we would do any written requests or anything, we would use ChatGPT to translate into Taiwanese Mandarin because they use traditional Chinese characters. Whereas if I was just like in communication with a nurse when you weren't there, we would just use Google Translate, and that worked fine for us. Yeah.
Or
Hun tong.
Hun
tong.
Yeah.
There are a few words I learned. Hun tong.
Hun tong.
Oh, okay.
Tong.
Tong.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I didn't learn it then.
No, you're there. You're close.
So our typical day routine was at 7:30, the staff brings in breakfast, 11:30 a.m., 5:30 p.m.
There's a snack.
And a snack came at like 3-ish. I'm a big fan of postpartum meals. I made a point of every single thing that they brought me, I would try. And there were some things that I enjoyed more than others. But the postpartum soups especially just felt really good.
Okay, let me explain to you the philosophy of the meals. But the whole idea is like the best diet for healing and just for general health is that you have meat from the land, meat or protein from the sea, and then you get vegetables from the land, of course rice, and then you also have soup. Most of the meals every day incorporates this type of food group.
What's that thing that you said about how mad you are about Chinese medicine?
Oh, yeah. I'm really angry because I love ice water and I love iced beverages. I like cold things. And I am really frustrated that Chinese medicine is right about consuming and ingesting warm drinks and food, that it's better for you and your body feels better. And now that I've done it for a long time, my body felt a lot better and I'm mad because I like
because your body is actually
water.
feeling good.
Yeah, I'm mad. I'm mad that they're right and I was wrong.
Okay, so every morning we get this azuki beans water. Basically, it's red bean water.
Pretty.
What are we having for breakfast today?
We're having congee. It's like rice porridge.
What's that black stuff in there?
I think those are quinoa.
Is there meat in there too?
Yeah, it looks like chicken. Bean sprouts, scrambled eggs with onion, and really good meat. I've noticed they've given me a lot of protein.
And I said to Jason, I was like, this is the most consistently I have ever eaten 3 healthy meals a day ever in my life. Turns out, if you eat 3 healthy meals a day consistently,
You heal better.
you feel good.
I feel fresh, healthy. It's terrible.
Here are some foods that you don't see. Mac and cheese, fried chicken, mashed potatoes, basically anything brown and fried.
Coffee was really good. They had the like really high-end Nespresso machines, and they would give us a little basket of pods at the beginning of each week.
What happens at 2:00 every day?
Oh, at 2:00 every day, they would come in and clean your room. So they would vacuum and wipe the floors, change your linens, make the bed, new towels, new clothes. It was great. You really don't have to worry about anything. They just come in and they're super sweet. And so I talked to them a couple times in my very broken Mandarin. And they were very patient. Everybody was so patient with me. The clothes that they give you are really nice. It's a 2-piece set. There's capri pants and then a long tunic that you can wear as a dress. They're nursing clothes, so it has like a gap in it. And you get 2 new outfits every day. You can request more. But it's nice because, if you're early postpartum, you're bleeding, so stuff gets on stuff, and so you don't really have to worry about doing laundry. The only thing that we did have to do a lot was Jason would take home laundry for me, like the burp rags and the nursing bras. So what we started doing was, because I was really missing the kids, Jason started bringing them every evening, and I would drop off Lucy at the nurses center, and then the kids would come and have dinner together, and we'd usually watch a movie.
Finally. What?
And then when Lucy needed to nurse, they would call me, and then we would meet at the nursing room. And so I would nurse her there and then take her back and then spend that time with the kids. And when the kids left, was usually around when she needed to do her night feed. So I would just go to the nursing room again to nurse Lucy, and they would bring in a UV ray cleaner?
Sanitizer thing. And then they'll turn on the UV lights, and the whole room is just like bathed in UV disinfectant light.
But yeah, so then I would typically do her night feed. She has a hard time settling around like 10. So I would usually feed her and then drop her off at the nursery so that we could go to bed.
I would drive the kids back home and then do their bedtime routine and then wait for them to fall asleep because they were really upset that I would stay at the 月子中心 instead of here in this house. And it's like, kids, first of all, the AC is wonderful, the shower is wonderful, and they have this wonderful pillow that I love. So you guys gonna just sleep here. And my dad was staying in here to watch over the kids.
Yeah, we didn't just abandon her.
Yeah, we didn't watch. Yeah. You would take Lucy there. You'd be getting ready for bed. We would sleep. And then they would call us when Lucy was ready to feed again.
Yeah.
So then they would wheel Lucy back to our room and you would feed her.
I would feed her. And most of the time she would fall back asleep really easily, and I would just go back to sleep and then do her next feed. And then sometimes she would just be really fussy. So then we'd take her back to the nurses and be able to
What would the
nurse.
nurses do? What if she was fussy? Like,
They would just hold her. So they have
hold her, burp her,
swaddle her, like give her a bath. I think she got bathed almost every other day, probably.
every other day. I mean, she just smelled so good.
She did. Some of the nurses wear pink and some of them wear white. So the nurses wear pink.
Professional. Yeah.
And then the baby holders wear white. So they're basically like just very experienced grandmas and they just hold your baby all night. The first week, I had a separation anxiety from you too.
Yeah.
Like it was really hard when he was gone. You're my emotional support human. So I just was like, I just need him. Like the first night you weren't there, I was like, I missed you.
We forgot to mention those daily rhythms of nurses coming in and out, because they did that a lot for you and for baby. So explain that.
So there is a nurse who's in charge of maternal care. So there was a really lovely lady who would come in every day to check my vitals, just make sure that my recovery was going well, and if I had any questions that I wanted to be addressed by a doctor, because there would be a doctor who would make rounds once a week, as well as a Chinese medicine doctor who would make rounds once a week. Basically, they work together to just make sure moms are okay. They check your blood pressure and they check your vitals just to make sure, like, there's no preeclampsia concerns or things like that.
I remember there was one night we were both like asleep and the nurse comes in like in the middle of the night just to check on baby. The nurse would just change the diaper while we're sleeping.
And they didn't even turn the lights on. Like they would just use a flashlight and be as silent as possible. It was super respectful. And
I mean, they prioritize rest. Unlike our hospital experiences in the States where we're trying to sleep in and nurses just like bust the door in. Hey,
Can I take your vitals right now?
this luxury postpartum center also had some really cool services that we were able to take advantage of. They also have like spa services with like postpartum massages, and then they also do like hair treatment. It was nice.
yeah, it was really nice. I just got like a deep double hair wash and deep condition and a blowout.
And then every stay also includes a photo shoot with the baby. Because of my poor Chinese, I didn't understand that this photo shoot was not only of baby, but also with family. And so Hannah was resting, and so I took the baby there. So I had some nice photos with baby. You get one photo for free, including a book. There's different packages and stuff like that. So we decided to spend quite a bit of money.
It was a very convincing upsell. Because you see your perfect baby in the world's cutest poses and outfits. And you're like, she's a little bear. She's a little pastry. We have to buy it.
The experience was great.
And look how cute these pictures are.
Out of all the classes that were there were 2 of them that we felt were really important to us.
Oh, no, they made us take these. I didn't get to choose them. They were like, when are you going to do this?
It's because I said that we needed those.
Lols. I didn't
They
know
didn't
that.
have forced you to do it.
Oh,
I
they were just like,
requested
when are
them.
you going to schedule these? Okay, well, that's something that got lost in translation. I was like, oh, they're really serious about this. We got to do the baby CPR and we got to do this bathing class. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Wait.
Kind of explains our life in Taiwan. CPR makes sense. Like, in case baby chokes, what do we do? That's really helpful. But I thought it was interesting that we took a bathing course because we had 2 previous kids. We know how to bathe them.
Yeah, can you explain that one for us? Because I don't know.
I asked you if you want to do bathing class, and you're like, sure. It was still helpful. We don't do it anymore. Let's talk about some of the challenges. We talked a little bit about the language barrier. What would you say to anyone who don't have any Mandarin skills and they happen to be here, whether as expats or they're working here? Do you recommend them going back to their country of origin to give birth, or would you recommend them trying out the postpartum care center?
I think they should do the postpartum care center.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Are you surprised by that?
I am. I would recommend not doing it
Because of the language?
because of the language.
No, I disagree with that. The care that you would have access to is
Outweighs the
challenge of talking.
I mean, there's so many postpartum care centers that I'm sure you can ask around, be like, hey, which one is the most English friendly? And in fact, if you're watching this video and you know of any, please put them down in the comments so that you can help this community out a little bit more. One of the bigger challenges for you as a Western mom is giving baby away to the nurses.
Yes. As I felt that Lucy's and my bond was more established, I felt more comfortable handing her to the nurses. But I do think those first couple weeks are just so precious for bonding that it is a hard concept to come around. In Asia, you trust your elders. You go to your elders.
There's
for
just a higher level of trust overall.
Yeah.
Right?
Trust
Yes, there is.
authority in a way that like we don't in the West.
Yeah,
like
there-
we're very suspicious of
Anyone who is not yourself.
I heard something really interesting from a TikTok recently. The reason that moms are so stressed out is because from a evolutionary perspective in a hunter-gatherer society, you're not the only one holding your baby. And if you are, your body is like, oh no, we've been separated from the group.
From the village.
Yeah, so literally in a survival state, we're not evolved to be alone with a child. Like you should have intergenerational care. You should have other hands around to help. That shouldn't all be on one parent.
Yeah. Which contributed to our postpartum depression from the last 2.
I think there's something about like millennial and Gen Z moms are all struggling, at least in Western society. Not so much here. These moms seem more okay, but that might just be my outsider's perspective.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. If you're a Taiwanese mother watching this, like,
Do you
what's
think
it
you're
like?
happier than me?
Let's talk about the third other challenge, which is the strict visitor rules.
Yes.
During our time here, there was a lot of COVID cases that spiked up in Taipei. So the postpartum care center really enforced like, hey, if your kids come, they are not allowed to mingle with the baby, which was hard for us because our kids could not hold their sister. And that really was rough on them. Well, we say one of the hardest parts was giving baby away. But once we learned and got better at it, the best part was
Giving baby away. So often, like in the middle of the night as a mom, you're the only one who can comfort your baby. And so it's really wonderful in a situation like you have at the postpartum care center to just be like, I can just send my baby to these baby professionals and sleep.
Another best part was the staff. Like
The
we just
staff.
cannot tell you just how much.
Wonderful. We didn't have any bad interactions.
No.
They came by to let us know the details for checkout tomorrow and gave us this little book, which has some cute pictures of Lucy and all of her feed information. And it's cool to see like how much of the days she spent in the room with me. And then these little pictures. She's so cute.
And then lastly, the send-off. Like when we checked out, it was kind of sad. We were not ready to go. They asked for Lucy one last time, give her a nice bath, do all of her vitals again. We reunited at the lobby, took some photos, and then we did one last lap around the postpartum care center. We stopped at the nursing area and said goodbye to the nurses, and then we were off.
Yeah.
Let me talk a little bit about the cost. So the reason why we cannot be fully transparent with the cost is because we signed an NDA. But if you look online in the States, they're called postpartum retreats. And here in Taiwan, most Taiwanese families will spend a month. But in the States, it's like a weekend, maybe 5 days, 7 days. And you can see like one night is between like $1,500 to $2,500 a night, which is insane. So just do the math really quickly. You're going to like a high-end hotel, 3 meals, professional nurses, round-the-clock care, right? Hiring a postpartum doula, but you have a team of postpartum doulas. You have a pediatrician for your kid, a Chinese medicine doctor. Okay, how much would you have to pay for all of those services in the States? Here in Taiwan, it's between $175 to $500 a night. That's just a picture of how Taiwan is winning in postpartum care. We have this burden now to try to have this available somehow back in the States, especially for single mothers, because we look at each other and we're like, how do single mothers do this?
The first time we had a baby and we got home from the hospital, we literally said, like, I don't know how anybody goes through this alone. Like any first-time parent, like
talking right
to have access to this kind of care would be life-changing. This was life-changing for us.
Yeah. So if you're watching and you're like, man, that would be a really cool dream, let's dream together somehow. Imagine a world where postpartum care center was readily accessible for everyone, all mothers, walks of life in America. That would be quite a dream.
Amazing.
After all of that, we're just like, man, we shouldn't have done 15 days.
Yeah.
You know, and we're like, oh, I think we should have stayed a little bit longer. And little did we know, 3 weeks later, we get invited back, upgraded to the family room. So
Yeah.
it's like one of the bigger rooms. And so that's our next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, journeying with us. If you have any questions, let us know. Please give us a like. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to our channel. Other than that, thank you guys and see you later. Bye.